So thank you guys and welcome to this May CTE Teach webinar as we rush right ahead through the year. Let's see if we got everything going here. You can see my slides, right, Megan and everybody? Same norms as usual, just make sure your mic is muted. Megan will be moderating the chat. She's moderating the chat and letting people in and also keeping an eye out for other folks joining the webinar. And just if you are on camera, be mindful of the environment. And Patrick, if you're on camera, we expect guest star Honey to make an appearance, so. Myself and Megan are along today. Melissa will hopefully join us. James is on jury duty. He had 2 days of jury selection last week and was picked. He got Friday and Monday in the office, but opening statements were this morning, and I heard very little from him. He had a short break after opening statements, and I know he would rather be here, but we're down a man for a couple weeks. So he sends his best, and he'll send the recording as well, too. As always, we're recording it. I'm jumping back a page. We've got the bit.ly at the bottom of the screen, and Megan will put that in the chat as well too. If you want a copy of the slides, we've got the QR code as well too. But as always, like I said, we will send the presentation and the recording. It might take a little longer because of his jury duty. First off, happy Teacher Appreciation Day to you. And some of you are like, Teacher Appreciation Day, and I'll talk about that in another slide or two as well too, because every day should be Teacher Appreciation Day. Because there's a little point here, Tuesday on the first full week in May, but one website is saying that it needs to include Sunday. So maybe this isn't the first full week. This will take you to a website that says something about when Teacher Appreciation Day is or what it is. And anything in today's presentation that is yellow and underlined are direct links that you can just click on. They're clickable links. So for a little icebreaker, in the chat box, if you would, what do you plan or could you plan on doing for your mentees or teachers for Teacher Appreciation Day or week? Another question, another choice. Has anyone done anything extra for you today? And while you're typing, I'll kind of mention there's some swirling dates. National Teacher Appreciation Day, one website, it says it's today, Tuesday, May 2nd. But Teacher Appreciation Week is next week, Monday, May 8th through Friday, May 12th. In addition to that, next Wednesday, according to the CTE, is California Day of the Teacher. So obviously, we get a couple weeks. Robbie sending an encouraging note with chocolate. Jim got a nice large cookie from our awesome boss, Bridget, from San Gabriel Valley ROP. Bridget was along this morning. Jim, Dwayne, snacks all week long. That can be an office thing for sure. Jim, no extra for me. I'm on our union negotiating team. So yeah. Elizabeth is making them a coffee cup with their name and awesome teacher quote. You're thinking like me, something about quotes in just a second. There's a lot of synergy this afternoon. I like this. You say nothing, Patrick, but our appreciation for sure. Janine, baklava muffins. Oh, okay. Our address here is oh, thank you for sharing, Kristen. TGI Fridays giving teachers free meals for Teacher Appreciation Day. I know I got something from Mod Pizza, a BOGO offer today, an email from School's First Credit Union. I haven't looked at my email, my personal email all day. And Kristen says, my gift to you all, just bring your ID. Thank you very much, Kristen. Appreciate it. Yeah, and if you guys want to continue sharing that stuff, please do so. Good stuff. I like the teacher quotes, and one thing I want to share with you is something from We Are Teachers. We Are Teachers is a website that it says here, and I took this from the web, celebrates educators with classroom ideas, helpline advice, inspiration, and laughs every day. Why? Because teachers are awesome. And that's true. And I like quotes. I find inspiration in quotes. I do like the center top one. I can't believe I just saw my teacher at the grocery store. I thought she lived in her classroom. True. And then the one below it, summer vacation is the time when parents realize teachers are grossly underpaid. I was telling everybody this morning about running into a student a couple of years ago, and I'm usually really good with recognizing students, remembering students, and she recognized me right away, and I could not place her. I thought, who is this person? And come to find out after some questions, well, her hair was a completely different color. She was blonde as a student. Now she was dark haired. She did not wear glasses in school. She was wearing glasses. If I did a side-by-side picture, no way would I have ever known it was her. And also here, the We Are Teachers is underlined. If you want to connect to their site, that is a live link, a clickable link as well too. A bit of information and resources to share with you, a lot of resources to share today with you on professional development. And I just want to talk about what we've done at CRIROP this year in regards to teacher professional development for our new teachers, for our existing teachers, for our staff. I'm going to kind of take you through the school year. So if you will kind of go back in your mind to July 2022, when we were just starting this school year, I'm going to go through it chronologically for these groups of people. Our new teacher program is our Teacher Induction Program, which we nicknamed TIP, which years ago CTE TEACH was based on. And they started with a summer boot camp last July. That was followed the same week with an all staff in service. So site staff, teachers. We followed that up this year with monthly TIP meetings for the new teachers, and that's for the first and second year teachers and anyone else who would like to join. And we've also done monthly teacher professional development this year. And now even coming up in a month or so, we'll do some summer professional development. So I'm going to walk you through each of those things, and there's information as we go here. The infographic to the right is just what we do as teachers, as mentors. We're providing direction, training, teaching, providing that support. And in a way, the webinar is a series of support as well too. And just providing motivation and goals for those mentees, because we want to see them succeed. So again, going back to last July, end of last July, we start the school year for our new teachers, our crybabies, we call them because they're new. And it is for the first and second year teachers, 3-day intensive onboarding. Day one is for the brand new teachers, brand new first year teachers to CRIROP. And that could be new to teaching or new to CRIROP. And then they're joined in day 2 and 3. It's the first and second year teachers. And that's a formula we have used for multiple years. And then here on the right, there's a website called Session Lab, and this is a clickable link as well too. And Session Lab is online time management or time planning, or if you're planning anything out, if you're planning a full day, you can break up your chunks of how much time you want to spend on something, and it'll tell you how much time you have left. We even plot in the breaks. You can color code it. For some people really like that planning aspect and just how everything's going to lay out. You can list your resources, who is doing things. So just a tech tool that you could utilize. They do have free applications, and then they have paid upgrades as well too. And I'm not endorsing any products. I'm not selling anything today, as you see as we go on, but just something that has been utilized and used for some success for us here. Following that, 1 year we had kind of a sports theme. And so just even the teachers had a schedule where they were going to be, time they were going to be there, and what we were covering that day. A lot of collaborative activities. And then something started a few years ago was if things just didn't fit, we had a parking lot. When you put your car in the parking lot, put it to the side. If you had a question and it just didn't fit the certain time that or the subject we were going over, we said, save your question, put it in the parking lot, and we will get to those parking lot questions. We'll schedule that in as well too. So that we didn't get off topic, but we still met your concern and were able to get back to you with an answer. And if we weren't able to get back an answer to you that day, we would record a webinar, a podcast, and get them the answer afterwards, because maybe the person that had the answer wasn't in the room.
Speaking of questions, David, we do
Yeah,
have one. They wanted to know if this is only for CTE teachers or all teachers in your district.
Good question, Isaiah. So for us, since we're just the ROP and CTE, we offer it for our ROP teachers. CTE teachers in the districts that we support are invited as well too, because on most of our campuses, they have their own bits of programs, their own teacher induction programs. So we do it to specifically support our teachers, but it's open for others if they want to come. Good question. Thank you. For years, we've also been doing something on Teach Like a Pirate. And this is started with the book Teach Like a Pirate, and like I say in the slide, techniques that incorporate showmanship and creativity. And Elena Hernandez, one of our program managers, really brought this into CRIROP, and we'll call her the lead pirate. And this is her with her props for one presentation some time ago. But it has developed into a whole series of books. And there are Lead Like a Pirate series. There are more. There's leadership. There's professional development. We've dabbled in Tech Like a Pirate as well, too. But a lot of good ideas that might spur you on to try different classroom strategies, and some are right for some people at some time at one point, and some adapt them later on, and some even adapt them without even thinking about it. So Elizabeth, you were talking about the creativity and the showmanship and being on stage in the classroom, and there's a lot of opportunities here. So, you know, if you haven't checked it out, I do recommend it for sure.
David, we have another question. Patrick
Yeah.
wanted to know, what is the cost?
Cost of what, Patrick? Like the book, if you had one copy of the book, even from the library, you could get the ideas just from reading the book. For the summer program. Oh, that. No cost. We do that for the teachers. That is budgeted in, that we've got the people to teach classes. It is mostly done by our mentors, and I'll get to that in a slide or so. But there is no cost to the teachers at all. No. Sorry, I was going off this slide. Another thing we sometimes can do with the new teachers and with classrooms, and as kind of a nod to Star Wars this week, May the 4th be with you in a couple days. I'm sure you're all familiar with Myers-Briggs personality testing, introvert, extrovert. If you want a Star Wars spin on it, there's one on 16personalities.com. Again, a clickable link, and you can take the personality test and find out kind of what personality you are, what styles that person works well with, what strengths of that person is, what are developmental needs of that person. I took it the other day. It took me about 15 minutes, I would say. I think it was a little different than when I've done it before. My result was the console. It didn't say Luke Skywalker, it said the console. Because I don't know if I've always turned up as extrovert on these things, to tell you the truth. So I think I'll take it another week or so and see what kind of results I get. But this is good for teachers, for mentors, for mentees, for students as well too, and just in working with groups. So it's one thing I wanted to share today as well. jump into staff in service. So we've done 3 days of tip training, intensive tip training. That's followed immediately the next day by our all staff in service. So the new teachers, all teachers, and we've done in service different ways in different years. This particular year, back in 17, Cry Rocks. We like a theme here. You'll see that. And any of these things at the time were created in Canva, but it was a rock theme. And then we had breakout sessions. So people had choices of what they wanted to attend. And those were all based around music and songs and things like that. But then the next year, we went smaller, had superpower as the themes, and everyone had a schedule of where they were going. So that year we had less breakouts, and everyone had their schedule printed for them. So different ways of doing that. And then there's been other things through the years as well too. The sports theme that I referenced a little while ago, I know you've heard me talk about the circus, which was 2020, which was perfect timing. And last year, the in-service, because it was our 50th anniversary, was through the decades and things. So I know the program managers and Melissa are working on themes and ideas for this year because it's coming right around the corner as well too. Got through summer last year, start of school year, and then now we're going to start monthly, or started monthly professional development. And this gives you a little kind of snapshot of things that we're covering with the new teachers, with the first and second year teachers through the year. And they don't have meetings every month. We might skip a month. We skip March just because of spring break, but kind of looking at, they've had a lot of reflection this year. But this year coming up in May, they'll go over closing out the school year, what it's like the first time you're closing out a school year, teacher checkout, and then a little bit of a graduation as well too. And then I said I'd come to this in a couple slides. This has been handled by different people in different years. Currently this year, a program manager and 4 mentor teachers are overseeing the new teachers, the mentees. Previous couple of years, it was a peer coach leader and 2 or 3 mentor teachers. And then even before that, it was just the peer coach leader. So at different times, we have done different things with who's leading this part of our professional development. So I just want to mention that because you can do it different ways. Those monthly workshops, I'm going to stress that it's an opportunity to collaborate, to find out that you're not alone, you're not in the trenches alone. And I think mentees feel that way. They think, oh, it must be happening only this way in my classroom. So I think there's kind of a shared kindred spirit of, oh, it's happening to other people are going through this, because those first couple of years are so difficult and so challenging. I do definitely want to, I'm going to share things right here at the bottom of the screen with all of you. They, again, are all clickable links. First one is our CRYROP teacher binder. And we started this during the pandemic, but just as a way to collect resources and have resources that we could share with people. So, and now we've continued to utilize it. So it's a simple Google website. And if you're interested in anything on it, you're welcome to click through and take a look. If there's things you want to add to it, let us know. And we're also now developing these for the industry sectors. And we've starting to do that. We're early stages of building that. Another resource is a Ludo. And a Ludo is professional learning that we utilized for our teachers during distance learning. And 2 of our 3 districts have also utilized it. And it's kind of self-directed, but gives you opportunity to learn about different things and develop new skills. So I share a Ludo learning with you. There's also Skillshare, and Skillshare is online classes for creatives. It's all types of things. And I'm just showing you their landing pages, what you get on them today. But if you're working on something on you want to tell a story. There are classes on telling a story or classes on creativity. And all of these have free accounts, and then want you to sign up for additional accounts, not the CRY teacher binder. That's all free. But there could be resources for students or things you want to point students in the direction of as well too. So Skillshare is a good one. Pathful is one we utilize. They used to be called Nepris, and this year they have switched to Pathful, but they are online guest speakers. If you want to arrange a guest speaker for your class, if you're looking for judges for events, if you're looking for a panel, you can make a request of them and they will find the resources for you. They have a wide range of resources. And we've used them this year for career fairs as an opportunity, or just guest speakers in the classroom. We are definitely doing more field trips this spring than we have I'd say ever. Megan probably has to schedule a bus later today for something, or try and find a bus, or go drive a bus. But Pathful is a good way to get people into the classroom. And then finally, Canva, which we shared with you a couple months ago, is a design tool if you are creating things. And like I said, all these flyers that you're seeing in today's presentation were done with Canva. We're starting to dabble into generative AI, as we discussed last month. And Alex has been creating a couple things with generative AI as well too. So feel free to check those out at a later date as well.
David, we have a question from Janet on, is there a fee for Pathful?
Janet, yes, there is. And the exact costs I don't have. Our county signed up for it years ago, and then we were an early adopter of it as well too. So yes, there are some costs involved. And then Jim said a guest speaker site I have used is skypeascientist.com. It holds live events or assign a speaker to your class. Thank you for that, Jim. Skype a Scientist. Always good to get the new resources. Things covered in tip and professional development ideas, they're all important, but I want to specifically talk about the ones in yellow. This year, we've done a lot of stuff with mindfulness. One of our mentor teachers is a mental health teacher, and she starts each of the tip workshops with just kind of a few minutes of mindfulness exercises. And she's been really successful doing that in her classroom as well too through the year. Some people here at our office just stop it for the mindfulness activity because they get so much out of it. I talked about collaboration. I think there's the beauty of the people coming together and hear that they're not alone in the trenches. They're not a solo in the igloo, that other people are going through the experience is an important thing. And then it's also great for personal growth and developing skills as an educator, developing as a professional as well too. And then kind of collaborative events. Some is a little sage on the stage, obviously, if you're getting early information. But then here's a picture of last year's graduation and with their sparkling cider as well too. So we'll have a new group of graduates next month.
Hey, David, would you mind going back one slide really quick so I can screenshot it?
Yeah,
you're doing great. Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
No.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Not a worry, not a problem.
Done. Thank you.
You bet. I'm going to skip ahead too. So while that's happening for the new teachers, also there's monthly teacher PD going on for all teachers, usually with online, usually through Zoom, sometimes in person. We've just found it to be more successful now post-pandemic as an online event. So early this year, we did something that early in the year, September was already about a career ready classroom because it's early in the year. There's normally some time for people to collaborate via or specifically in industry sector. And I know I always love that because I want to know what the teachers in my sector were doing as well too. And then just looking ahead, Alex did something on ChatGPT for the office just last week. Now we're doing something for the teachers this Thursday. So this was our flyer for the office last week, but now the teachers are doing something on ChatGPT this Thursday and generative AI, because obviously there's so much more happening even a month later after we talked about it. Couple more. Earlier in the year, there was an opportunity for teachers to get together, but it didn't have to be during that specific time. And they just sent in a picture of their collaboration as part of their evidence that they had met and were working on things. So a picture of our middle school teachers. Really dynamic group. We've gone through the year. We're going to wrap up the school year here. There's also summer professional development. So our ICT department, a couple weeks after school gets out, is doing mornings of professional development. And that's a good time to get kind of new teacher tech tools to bring back to the classroom in July. So they've already saved those dates, and our teachers know to look for that. And that'll be for all of our teachers. And I'll see if I can even get you guys some invites for that as well, too. And there's been other paid opportunities for professional development. A couple of years ago, we did a book club in the summer. Here's something about the summer PD a few years ago as well, too. Kind of feeding the soul through the year. So I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to do a little something talking about professional development here. Well, audience participation in the chat box, and you don't have to answer all of these. You can answer one, you can answer multiple, your choice. In the chat box, type and let us know if you have any personal summer professional development plans, district or site summer professional development plans, or suggestions for professional development topics. Is there something you want to learn about? Are there things you're interested in? I'll give you a few minutes to type. As I mentioned, I'm looking for PD this summer. I've done AVID seminars in the past. Yes, very worth it, very thorough. Dwayne, Career Technical Education, Project Lead the Way, and Project-Based Learning. Yes, for sure. Elizabeth, grant writing suggestion. You know what? Ask ChatGPT about some ideas in there, actually. In Alex's training last week, our grant writer was in there, or our special projects manager, and she does the grant writing. And we were asking some questions of that. So there was kind of hints, topics, tricks, ideas. I know you looked into ChatGPT after our last webinar, but utilize ChatGPT for that, for sure. Jim's attending conference in Phoenix. Good time for conferences as well, too. Jim Technical Trade Show and exposed to industry folks. That's a good thing. Taipei for 10 days to teach some workshops to their students and teacher how CTE works in the US. Can we get tickets for that? What's this travel? Patrick, I'd like to build a teachable program on the 7 habits along with Who Moved My Cheese as the language of success utilized throughout the school year. Very good thing. 7 habits and Who Moved My Cheese. Robbie, attending Arts Media and Entertainment Conference. Isaiah put something in there for you, Elizabeth, about grant writing suggestions as well, too. So thank you, guys. And feel free to keep adding stuff in there. I have got kind of some normal reminders for the month, breezing through here. A little housekeeping. I need a cat that will do that. I did just find out about cordless vacuums. I'm intrigued. Kind of support that. I'd be more apt to vacuum if it was a riding vacuum cleaner, I think, but So on the mentor logs, continue filling those in. Again, our goal for fourth quarter is to get you up to your 150 hours and spend all of your hours. We want you to get them and not the state to get them back, and your mentees to benefit from that. So if you've got stuff for quarter 2 or quarter 3, you can still add to those. Those are open and you can still add to those. And the fourth quarter ones are in your folders, so do be adding your dates to those. We've got to get those wrapped up by June 30th at the latest. That is the last day to spend. So if you need to end earlier, so that we've got time to take care of those, please do. There is one mentor who has already spent 150 hours. There's another mentor or another couple mentors who are getting really close. So keep that up for sure. We had this slide about mentor log examples last month and just reprinted it this month. I do want to call your attention to the ones in yellow, because that kind of talks about some of the things we were talking about right now and the end of year things. Assisting mentees, like I mentioned, processes, end of the year process, if they're having to close out their classroom at the school site, if they're having to close out or do a checkout at the district office or anything like that too, remind them, tell them about those processes and what the teacher scavenger hunt is like. Coaching your mentees at the end of the year, look for some opportunities for end of the year reflection. You probably had some at middle of the year, but also now at the end of the year. So what were their successes? What were their challenges? What are their opportunities? What do they want to learn next year? What do they want to develop? So there's some definite opportunities for coaching there. And then also the CTE Teach Canvas modules, if you need to work up some hours, if you have not completed something in the mentor modules or you want to go back to something, there's also the professional development modules. And just like everything else in the webinar today, this is underlined and is a clickable link that will take you right to the CTE Teach Canvas modules. Just a brief little review on the mentor logs. Make sure you're putting hours in quarters. And by quarter, I mean 0.25 would be 15 minutes. 0.5 would be 30 minutes. 0.75 would be 45 minutes. And make sure you're giving yourself enough credit. 0.25 is just 15 minutes. That's pretty quick. And I know I talked to a couple of people about if those weren't enough time, if they needed to up it another quarter hour, that's okay to do so. We will probably be done today within an hour, but it's fine to put the full hour for today's webinar. Any administrators on the line? We sent out a Google form with the to fill out a form that would build each of your program impact reports last month. Those were due this past Sunday. If you haven't done that, if you would please fill that out as soon as possible and get that in. And I will also send an email to the administrators if they need that link again. Again, that's for the administrators. Mentors, the administrators might have a little bit of questions for you, kind of doubtful. But they might be asking for some input on that. And administrators, I'm hearing that 30 minutes is enough to get that done. We have gone through the school year. Our last webinar will be a little later this month on May 23rd. That's the program advisory, where we'll just kind of review what we've gone over this year, your feelings on it, what we've heard in feedback, and that'll be at our normal 9 o'clock and 4 o'clock sessions. Probably be a little shorter of a webinar as well too. But to get some of that information, mentors, we're not leaving you out of these surveys. Coming soon this month, we're going to send you a survey as well too. It will not be in depth. It will be just what did you get out of things like what did you get out of the webinars? What have you been able to utilize with your mentees? Mostly just ranking questions, and it will not take you long to do, but that'll be coming pretty soon. We're working on that as well too. As always, please like, follow, and subscribe. Catch us on our social media. Many of you have started following us, and we appreciate that. And then you can always utilize the resources at CTE Teach, and that's got all the things from the past. If you're looking for something specific, send us an email, give us a call, let us know, and we'll be happy to look for any resources for you. If you are following us on social media, you know that we put out mentor quotes, and a recent one was, "You are only as powerful as your mentors." And with that, I'm going to ask if there are any questions. I know I'm a little behind in the chat. I know there, Isaiah did put in the chat, anyone know about Teach Like a Champion seminars for our new teachers? And so if you have any information on that, if you can get that to Isaiah, I know he would appreciate it. And Kevin, you said, we have a teacher who has been a teacher for a long time and just recently jumped over to CTE side, teaching a new pathway. Does this qualify as a mentee? It sure could, Kevin, absolutely. There is definitely an uptick in single subject, a dedicated single subject teacher now picking up a CTE credential, and some of it going the other way as well too. But yes, absolutely, they could qualify as a mentee and utilize training and resources, and what's special about CTE, what's different about CTE, what's unique about CTE, for sure, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
You are very welcome.
David, Isaiah has a question, hand up.
Yeah.
That'd be easier to do it this way than in the chat. How do you, for all these sessions, how do you pay for hours? Is it just like a path that you have set up for all your new teachers? Do you run it through, what funding? Just as department chair, I'm just trying to figure out how to line this up for next year.
For example, for like the Teacher Induction Program.
Yeah, the monthly meetings, those type of things.
There are hours set aside at the beginning of the year based on previous year's hours of what we will spend for teacher professional development. Yeah,
right,
and also the yearly, the monthly, for example, just figuring out how many education services is going to plan, how many of the Teacher Induction Program, how many of the tip sessions they're going to plan over the year, and knowing how many teachers that involves. Same thing, knowing how many professional development will schedule and how many teachers potentially will be involved.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there's budget planning it out then.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Based on the previous year or the previous couple of years.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, if you don't have questions, if you don't need anything, you're welcome to jump off. I'll save you a little time for the day. If there are any questions you want to hang on, stay on. Megan and I will stay here as well too.